Hey everybody, Evan, I'm back here with another fascinating discussion today. Sam from PlanetScale, the database for developers. Sam, how are you?
I'm great, thank you, Evan. How are you?
I'm doing well. You're in sunny San Francisco. I'm here in Boston. We're going to dive into your history and PlanetScale, sort of the modern platform for developers. Really excited to hear your story. Maybe you could give us a little introduction, if you would, and how would you describe PlanetScale?
Yeah, PlanetScale is really the kind of only database platform built for developers and built for scale. We Our backend technology was the backend technology for YouTube,
Mm,
Vitess, scaled across many data centers on tens of thousands of servers and for
wow.
billions of monthly active users. The project then got picked up by Slack. Every Slack message in the world is stored in Vitess, and now it's used at incredible companies, HubSpot, Twitter, GitHub. That's how I came in contact with the product. And now we have built a platform on top of Vitess designed for DevOps practitioners, for engineers, for developers to get to high scale, or even without high scale, to be productive and build against their database.
That's fantastic. So, what's the core concept, and how is it revolutionary? I mean, databases are plentiful. I worked for Oracle in a prior life, and they had hundreds, if not thousands, of different databases through acquisition and other things.
Yeah.
What sets it apart from the traditional database or database approach?
Yeah, so databases have been stagnant for quite a while now. The
Mm.
job of a database is to not lose your data, is to performantly give you access to that data. Achieving that is not easy, right? It's a difficult feat. We wanted to take that much further and really bring the database into the daily life of a developer. The
Mm.
thing when we were researching how to bring the kind of this product to market, we started with a highly scalable and reliable backend technology. And
Mm.
some of your listeners might be thinking, we don't have incredible amounts of data. We don't have the same amount of data as YouTube, but great things kind of trickle down from scale. So if something's run at scale, it means it's failed over tens of thousands of times. It means the code that's managing your backups, it means the code that's managing
Mm.
failovers, replication. It's incredibly well tested and incredibly proven. No matter where you are in your sort of stage of business, that is incredibly valuable to you to have something robust and reliable. It's the same way if you were about to, go under for a surgery. If your surgeon was like, "Cool, I'm nervous. The first time I've done this," you're going to be like, yeah, okay,
That
cool."
sounds like a Monty Python sketch to bring
Right,
it home
right.
to our UK friends. And
Yeah.
you avoid the sort of manual sharding, the hand holding that's necessary. Tell us about the automated automation behind what you're doing.
Yeah, so PlanetScale is highly automatable. We have our API, we have our CLI, and you can actually build PlanetScale into your entire CI/CD process. One of our big and early innovations was database branching. So the idea that you can branch your database with a copy of your data and replace the need for a staging environment or configuring on your laptop. So we're moving into a very cloud native world. We're using
Mhm.
cloud native services. We are deploying into production in an entirely different way than we can run applications on our laptop. Like the
Mm.
idea of staging and dev environments being on the laptop is an old concept that's going away. We're now moving everything into the cloud, and so now PlanetScale gives you the ability to run dev versions of your database in the cloud, connect to them, build against them. And then when you want to make changes to the database, such as schema changes, you can then just deploy those as a deployment. So one of our demos that we have of the product is we have an application, it's a Twitter clone. We want to add likes to the application. We show you that rather than, in every other organization, to get the column for the likes column and make the database changes, you would usually go and do a ticket. Like I talk to big
Mm.
enterprises, it's a 6-week process for them.
Right.
We make it a fully automated part of the CI/CD process that takes literally minutes. We've taken companies that are deploying that to their database once every 6 weeks and getting it down to twice a day. And that comes from superior automation, reliability, and really knowing the flow and the change process that goes into the database. We really, we like to say that we're kind of the database for DevOps, and the database has been left out of the DevOps lifecycle, and that's definitely true. And now we're bringing it back in and having you go around the loop of the cycle with your database.
Fascinating. You talk a lot about safety first. So what's your approach there to ensure, data consistency, safety when you've got these branches and large operations like in an enterprise? What's your philosophy?
We take it very, very seriously.
Mm.
We work very, very hard. Our code is tested. It's deployed at scale. It's tested front to back. It's just, we're built on very solid foundations as well. The core storage engine underneath Vitess is MySQL. It's been around for 27 years now. Enterprises can't really trust their data with kind of brand new, unproven database. It takes a decade to build a database to any form of acceptable reliability. So we build on very, very solid foundations, and that enables us to guarantee a high level of consistency for our customers' data. These are little things, right? Our backups, they get tested that they can actually restore, right? They're not just backed up, they're then validated with a restore process on the next backup, meaning that you can get that data back. We also do things like we warn you before you deploy schema changes if they're going to be destructive or if they're going to actually destroy your production environment. So if you're trying to take a column out of the database, if we've seen a query that references that column recently, we tell you, you're going to break that query if you change the database. Like from years of experience, the PlanetScale team, we've worked at Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, GitHub, Sentry. Like the list of the companies we've all scaled is huge. And we've seen the same database problems at company to company to company. So now we've built the platform in a way that it defaults safeguards against the problems that we see and give users this kind of ability to grow. We're really building the database that we all wish we had when we were at these great companies building great things. And it takes knowing your user. And another thing that we do really well is we kind of layered on that, the team that are at GitHub came from GitHub, who built GitHub, built core features of GitHub. They understand how to build for developers. They understand how to build a workflow. And so that we have them here on top of building on top of a test. So we don't just create reliable and high scale experiences, delightful, fun, enjoyable experiences as well.
Wow, you don't hear that relative to databases much, so
Correct.
that's exciting. Give us a peek into the tech stack under the hood that powers PlanetScale. What makes it so differentiated?
Yeah, so PlanetScale runs on Kubernetes. In fact, kind of the joke is that it was ready for Kubernetes before Kubernetes because it was Vitess was originally built on Borg at Google, which was the predecessor to Kubernetes. Vitess is a Go app. It's one of the oldest Go applications in the world and one of the largest. It was built on They started Vitess on version 0.1 of Go inside Google. So it's been around and it's battle tested. So we sat on Kubernetes. We have MySQL there, again, extremely battle tested. We then have Go on top for Vitess. We have an orchestration layer that's also written in Go. And then for our API and kind of everything that's user facing, we have a Ruby on Rails application, which has like all the business logic, all authentication, everything that makes kind of the product experience. And then on top, there's a Next.js app for the front end. So it's a pretty, as you kind of go down this, you start really modern with a really great new sort of JavaScript approach, all the way down through Ruby, very stable, all the way down to MySQL, where your data lives in the most rock solid database we can imagine.
Brilliant. And for enterprises, they're often scared regarding migration. What's the process? What are the challenges? How can they overcome those? What does it look like?
It really varies customer to customer. If you've got a kind of fairly vanilla MySQL installation, you've not done something crazy or weird, you can be up and running hours, if you to get moving. But we obviously migrate very, very large customers out of data centers with hundreds of terabytes of data. That takes a little bit of time. We help guide them through this process. Quite often, people's applications are making assumptions that don't fit the cloud, and we kind of help them through that. But at the end of the day, sort of the juice is worth the squeeze. It takes time, but it's overall worth it to go and move. We help every kind of bit of migration effort taken to move to the platform. We pay back in efficiencies, productivity, cost savings, and we drive down TCO for our customers. So migrations can sometimes be long. They're not that bad usually, but for high benefit on the other side.
Interesting. And we're not going to get into pricing dollars and cents here, but what's your philosophy on pricing and how that, looks to customers, and how do they pick the right pricing plan, that sort of thing?
So scale is in the name. We believe your pricing should scale as well. You can't have pricing that taxes you for being successful. So our pricing is really designed to be fair, and scale with the customer. You can choose various different options. You can choose our serverless pricing, where you pay for literally exactly what you use, in terms of the exact queries that you do. But for our larger customers, they choose to commit to a large set of hardware that we provision for them, usually inside their cloud account. That's something that's key to know about PlanetScale that's kind of fairly unique to us as well, is we can give you a SaaS experience. So no management overhead for you, but it runs inside your cloud account. So your data is secured by you, your team, and by us. If you've got Amazon commitments or Google commitments, you can buy PlanetScale through the marketplace and run it on your committed spend and hardware. So, and then we just charge for how much of the data we're managing for you. And we can, so again, it just feels like SaaS. You don't have to do any management, but all of the data runs inside your account. It's kind of the modern cloud era version of on-prem, but it's like SaaS and on-prem combined.
Very cool. Very cool. So I followed your Twitter account. It's quite engaging, and you have a very active and engaged community of developers, lots of resources and activity there. Does that come from your GitHub days of working with developers?
I think so.
Yeah.
Developers are the key to incredible feats inside every organization. Developers create magic. They're the most inspiring, optimistic audience to build for. You can't bluff them. You can't fool them. You have to build things that are genuine and good and deliver them value. And they can create near infinite upside for a company. And so engaging them and being part of a community with them, we say that, we always talk about we're building with our users. We're not building for them alone. We're building with them. We take their feedback. We see what they're doing. Their work reflects on our work, and what we enable for them, it reflects their choices in the stack, and that they've chosen PlanetScale. We take making them productive very, very seriously. And I just love the community. I love our community. They're engaging, funny, wonderful, and they're very serious tech people that have hard jobs to do and big brands to support. And we're really happy to play a part of that with them.
Oh, that's wonderful. And talk about your biography a little bit. You were previously VP of Engineering at GitHub, no small task or role. What was it like transitioning into, the CEO role? That's a rather different beast.
It is a different beast. I was very lucky to not be doing it alone. I have a great team of people that work at PlanetScale with me, and I'm extremely lucky to have them around me and support me in what I do. It's a different role. You take on a bunch of responsibility. In some ways, it makes things easier. In some ways, it makes things a lot more difficult. You kind of never forget. A dear and board member of ours, he said to me, it's a 24/7 job. You don't forget for a single second that you have responsibility and that your decisions impact the lives of people that you care deeply about. So in that sense, it's a challenge, but the opportunity to work with incredible people and create a work environment where they're happy and engaged and challenged, I just feel like the luckiest person alive getting to do that with these folks.
Oh, that's wonderful. Very motivational. So what's on the horizon for PlanetScale? What's next? Any roadmap you might share, or what can users look forward to?
So we brought branching to the world. That was a PlanetScale kind of first. We've brought PlanetScale Boost to the world, a world first way of caching inbuilt natively into our platform. What you're going to see from us is we're going to continue to deliver an excellent level of service for our users. Job number one. And that gets harder and harder over time as they grow, as we grow. And we keep ahead of that challenge, I'm very happy to say. Next, we have some, we never talk about roadmap too far ahead. One thing our audience has asked for is for foreign key support. That's coming very soon. We're very, very excited about that. But there's a few roadmap items. There's one particularly that we're working on that, if I was a DBA back in the day, I would have killed to have. Absolutely outstanding pieces of technology that really help people intelligently understand the behavior of their databases, the way their applications are interacting with the database. We're going a step further really into that workflow and really engaging with the humans that interact with the database. And we're using really amazing technology to go and do it. We're still very early in our journey. Vitesse is incredibly powerful. We've only shown the world 10-15% of what it can do. And so a lot of our roadmap is revealing that, building it and building and moving forward and showing people. And the response every time we ship something is really warming and fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, your enthusiasm is so infectious. We're great to chat with you and learning more about your mission. And folks, thanks for watching. I hope you reach out to Sam and the team with any questions or feedback. Thanks so much, Sam.
Thanks, Evan. Thank you.